Oh my, we are on an 0-4 skid. The roller coaster's taking a dip. Hopefully it's gonna start going back up. We're gonna talk about all of that and more tonight on Padres Talkin Padres. Everybody, and welcome to Padres Talkin Padres, your favorite Padres podcast, hosted exclusively by real fathers. My name is Jay, and with me, as always, is Jerry and Jack. You both have almost the same facial expression. I guess this is how you feel right now.
Is that what you saw growing up, Jay?
No, it wasn't that. Can you give me, just like what was your dad death stare look like? No.
I can't do it. I'm not as
you lost anymore. It was but it was so
I had it when we before we recorded.
I grew up with both of y'all, and yeah. I've seen both of your like father stare. You better cut the crap out right now. And you both have lost it. It's gone.
I got grandpa stare
soft with old age.
Tell your sister that. Yeah.
Anyway, gentlemen,
is anything better than talking about the Padres right now? I mean,
probably. God, it's just from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. We had that incredible game on Friday, which only became an incredible game because the bullpen blew it yet again.
That was your season. That game was the season. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Well, it was mostly up.
It was mostly up. It was like one of those chill games. It was like, cool. I have it on. It's a Friday night. I'm just sitting here reading the internet and watching a game, and then it got really stressful. And,
the best take I've heard about that, guys, is it's not just great that they won that game. If you kind of pan that forward about what it cost them bullpen collateral that night, Suarez goes out the next night because he had to pitch that night, doesn't have a full tank. They lose that game, and the repercussions on a bullpen, and I know Jack loves this because it's all about pitch count, but the repercussions of using relievers when you shouldn't have to, because this has got to be at least a half a dozen games where we literally had somebody 4 or 5 runs ahead, and yet we've had to pull in a second or third reliever to finish the game. Good or bad, win or lose, we've had to pull in more bullpen. It's a disturbing trend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you don't have enough arms in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Reliable arms.
Reliable arms. Yes.
Who felt safe when Peralta was coming in? I'm like going,
we're toast.
I said,
I was like, why aren't we using Kolek there?
He's not a strikeout pitcher, Peralta.
No.
Right?
But it's wild. It's wild because some of our biggest losing streaks, to Jerry's point, have followed an implosion post a blowout, right? Mm-hmm. Another one comes to mind is the Kansas City game where Kolek, who is now one of our more reliable relievers, came in with what? It was an 8-run lead, 8, 9, 10-run lead, something crazy like that.
I think it was a 9. Was it a 9-run lead?
It was a big one. Yeah.
It was a big one.
And so Suarez had to come into that. Almost gave a homer in that relief to come in and try and save Kolek, but ended up winning the game. But we didn't have our best reliever available for the Kansas City game, and we relied on Matsui to close the game, blew the game, and then that was it an 0-5 run from that loss in Kansas City that we probably should have won?
Yes.
And then, this one right here, we should have easily won the first game. And then we could have won the second game if we didn't have a bullpen implosion yet again.
Also, our bench hit the guys that were left on the bench, and we had bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah. And then
another run.
And then the game against the Diamondbacks, sure, we lost the last one 9-1, but that was because the bullpen blew up. It was a pitcher's duel until the bullpen had to come in for the Padres.
Cease had 2 bad pitches.
Yeah. And the only and then we could have we had plenty of opportunities in the last Mariners game And really the only one we were out of it was the Gillespie game but even then we came back within slam range. And then was it Peralta comes in, pulls his groin, and then De Los Santos gave up a home run, right? Or they gave up a run, and then now it's truly kind of out of reach or more out of reach than it should be. Yeah. So I know our offense went super quiet for a couple games in a row. I get that, but that happens with offenses. But the bullpen really set us up for this crappy run.
Well, you're 100% correct. And like I said, with Cease going to the pitch count again, if we had a stronger bullpen going to the bullpen, I'm sure he takes him out before he gives up the home run, because it did look like he had pitched all he could pitch, and then he left that hanging inside whatever it was, and boom. Now it's 3-1. Was it 3-1 or 3-0? 3-1, whatever it was. It's the bullpen is just literally killing us right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunately turned into a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And yeah, look, managers get paid a lot of money to work around this kind of stuff. But I sometimes I do feel for Mike Shield, not that he's looking for my sympathy, that, damned if I do, damned if I don't.
He texted me and said he's looking for
yeah. This roller coaster, and look, he can deny it all he wants. It's been a roller coaster. One of the guys that we follow, send it out, and since May 26th, 5-1, 0-5, 5-1, 0-5, 12-3, 0-4. I used to love roller coasters, and that sounds like a really neat one to go on.
I'll just go on the limb here and say I like the 12-3s better.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
And I guess the sad thing is it all turns out to be close to 500. And I guess I've just kind of gotten to the point, and I think you guys might be there too, where it's just I'm almost expecting this. At the lowest of lows, I expect nothing, and then they turn it around and there's something. And when they're doing something, they turn it around and do nothing. It's frustrating.
When they lost that game where they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and didn't at least tie it up.
Yeah.
I said, okay, in my head, I'm like, all right, we're going to have another, because just like the Kansas City game, the Colorado game.
Yeah, the Colorado game where, again, plenty of a lead, and Peralta blew that one too, didn't he?
He might have.
Peralta did. He did.
I lose track of which ones Peralta, Matsui, and De Los Santos have lost for us.
I was starting to feel good about Matsui, but now he's back to pitching like crap again. Yeah. So I just don't think he has the stuff. His fastball is below average.
And if they're not getting swingy, they know they can just sit on a fastball or get walked, because it's one of those two things.
Yeah. So again, I started going, because you're thinking, okay, it's like the night before. We're going to come back and win this game. Bases loaded. Then Johnson goes up there and was just overmatched. Again, he's still on the team. I don't get it, but he's still on the team. And then you had
Arise.
Arise. Yeah. Well, the problem is Jerry and I were in the chat. We were both checking back. Oh, we would have run Wade. The next morning I woke up. I go, what we should have done is save Wade for the bench, but who knew? And I'd rather have Wade hitting than Johnson.
Yeah.
Because he could lay down a great bunt. I mean, there's so many things he could do. But like you're saying, like Schilt, it's, people blame him, and it's like, okay, I can't blame him when you go, okay, I got 3 guys in the bullpen I can count on. The other guys are like, maybe, and Kolek, I think is different. I think Kolek, they should next year work as him as a starter. I think he's got starter stuff. I think he can do it.
Well, we need him to be a reliever right now.
Right now, you don't want to mess.
He's got to work on one inning before he goes on 6.
No, I'm saying this year. I'm saying next year. You don't want to mess with him, but you can go to spring training and the off season, start working with him, doing different things. I like him. The only game I really didn't like him was that Kansas City game. Who else does? But no,
the problem we have right now, guys, is again, we've talked about before. Where are we going to go? There's really nothing there. We were all texting and talking about Mazur getting sent down, and good for him. He probably needs it. Well, he's going to be right back. It's either him or Brito, and Brito's better. Well, I don't know if Brito's going to be any better either. The problem is
he's gotten
the tank is empty. Yeah, the tank is empty. There's nothing to pull from. There's not a veteran down there. And, the news on Darvish, probably all year from what I hear. Musgrove, he's probably still at least a month away, and he's going to be on an innings restriction if he can come back at all.
Darvish is saying the whole year?
Well, it's a personal matter,
yes.
and the understanding I have is his brother's got cancer, and it's not looking good. So, good for him to be able to go and spend with his family, and that's the most important thing. We all know that. But from the Padres standpoint, to be able to come back, again, the longer he's away, the more he's not going to be available to pitch more than 5 innings and 5 innings and then 6, and
Yeah.
So the prospects don't look good, and so what are we going to do? Are we going to sell out the farm system? We've talked about that. The three of us don't want that. It's like, no, don't get rid of Salas, don't get rid of DeVries and even Snelling and a couple of guys, but like there's nothing else left. I don't know if there's anything left to trade for.
Yeah,
that's the hard part. Even if you want to, there's nothing to trade for.
Dennis Lynn had an article, and actually we've about it in the past, that King he's never thrown more innings than he has.
He passed it the other day.
Yeah, they figure he's good for 90 more innings, what Lynn said. And then you have Waldron has not pitched.
Right.
It's the most he's pitched. So that leaves you with Cease. And you're like going, okay, and you don't know when Musgrove's coming back. You don't know when Darvish is coming back. Like we're saying, there's nothing in the farm system that's going to help out. It's just, and the sad thing is, the Dodgers are. If we could have played better, the Dodgers are losing.
Well, they're worse off than us in terms. They have like $2 billion on the injured list right now.
And you look at the Dodgers; their pitching is bad, and them losing Betts hurt. It's like us losing Tatis. Tatis is hurt not only offensively, it's hurt us defensively.
Yeah.
I mean, Peralta. Let's face it; he just can't make the plays. And then the reason he wasn't in the game in the extra innings because they took him out in the 6th, and put Johnson out there who can't hit. So you're like going, you wouldn't take Tatis out, but now they're saying Tatis, if he comes back in September, that would be good news.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
the division just kind of opened up, didn't it? I mean, with the Dodgers, not being healthy, that's the bigger part of it. Look, that's still a really good team over there, but just like us, they're going through injuries. Their last 5 games started, I believe their ERA for their starters is over 9, which that's just un-Dodger-like. You can dislike them all we want, but that's just not Dodger-like.
Well, guys are bringing
the Padres are short on it. You got Arizona who's who's limping.
They got their injury problems.
They got their injury problems. So then there's the Giants who look like they might be starting to get a little healthier. We all hang around too much longer. It's going to be a 4-team race again. It will.
The Giants also have this knack from coming from behind and winning in the 8th and 9th.
Yeah,
they've done it 5 times in the last 2 weeks. It's like, how did they come back? I go to bed thinking, okay, Giants lost. And I go, But like I said, Dodgers don't have pitching. And they spent so much money on 2 guys. They didn't build depth. And, they want Glasnow goes out and every.
Well, that's it's what we said when they got Glasnow. I was like, well, he's never pitched more than 120 innings,
No.
And
they're saying it's his back. But,
Well, whatever it is. I want to go back to the King thing, though, because you said they were expecting 190. I heard total opposite. I heard his most innings was 105. He went to 106 yesterday. They were only expecting him to throw. They were trying to limit him to 150 innings this year. That was it. Well, not 190.
I'm just saying what Lynn said, that they said 90 max.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, okay. If you hopefully make the playoffs, the 90. That's the end of the season. I mean, Well, and the problem was we have nobody else.
I'm just saying what Lynn said. I'm just like going, and to be honest, King has been our best pitcher. He just can't get any wins.
Yeah. Well, him and Waldron are suffering with the same run support issues, but
it's just it's a shame that these things aren't syncing up, right? Where our offense, sure they have their bad games, but on the whole, pretty darn good offense. but with resiliency, right? Comeback wins, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the pitching can't hold it. Last year, we had amazing pitching,
Right.
but didn't have the clutch gene, and
No.
so, but I'm not throwing away the season yet. I gotta be honest. Y'all are kind of getting doom and gloom on me here.
No,
okay?
I'll be honest with you. I'm
This
being
is what we've
realistic at
seen,
this
though.
point.
Okay.
Unless there is a trade where
I
they
think
add a
there's a
couple
trade.
arms and a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we need an outfielder. Unless there's going to do something with.
You don't get an outfielder. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what's the guy's the third baseman we kept seeing in the minors? Rosario. They've been playing him in the outfield.
Yeah.
So does he come back and play the outfield? I don't know how
Sure.
good a defense player.
I don't, Jack, with all due respect, I don't think another right fielder is our biggest concern. I think it's like 10th on the list. I really do.
I think it is.
Because the offense is hitting, even if it's hitting on 8 cylinders, that's better than most clubs.
What outfielder are we going to trade for? And then
I'm not saying trading for a key out. I'm saying I want better than what we have.
Well, not every get
Peralta's hitting
all-star at every
250.
position.
Yeah,
he's hitting 250 still. Peralta.
Yeah. It's like, what more do you want? Sure, he's not.
I just don't think it's our biggest problem.
It's not our biggest problem, but it is a problem.
But it's not one that we need to trade for.
I'm not saying
Peralta's not blowing games left and right.
Did I say trade? I said, is there someone in the minors? It's someone better than the minors and Johnson.
Okay, so
there's got to be.
I just checked the last 7 games. Peralta's our second best hitter average-wise.
Again,
he's hitting 333.
Yeah, and he's fine in the outfield. Is he Tatis? No, but Tatis is a platinum glove player. Right. You're not just going to go find a platinum glove player in the minors. And the other problem I have with pulling up somebody from the minors is you're screwing with that person's development, because what happened with Paulie? You bring him out, but you don't have enough at bats to give him. He needs to get bats every single day.
If you bring up Rosario, he has to stay.
But he's got to But he's got to get his sea legs
under. He came up for 2 weeks and just sat there. It wasn't my fault. I'm saying you bring him up.
He's not ready for the outfield. Bryce Johnson at least is a serviceable defender and can run fast. I'm not saying he's perfect.
Yeah.
But you can't bring up a minor leaguer to just be a backup to David Peralta.
Someone like him. There's got to be someone in the minors that can play the outfield that could be better than what we have.
I don't think there is. And again, Peralta's hitting 333 over the last 7 games. I mean,
you know what? If Peralta keeps hitting, more power to him. But I hate the fact when they take him out for defensive purpose and their bullpen collapses, then we have a black hole up to bat.
But we won't.
He's not going to get a hit.
We won't now that Xander Bogaerts is coming back. Yeah. Right, tomorrow, Xander Bogaerts will be back. Now you have Solano off the bench. What?
I think that's a big deal with Bogaerts.
Absolutely, because now your bench gets that much deeper. You have a great hitter
also
in Solano
think that
to
there's
bring
a chance they could trade Kim.
Sure, trade Kim. I don't care.
I
think Campy's traded too.
Huh?
I think Campy's on the trade block too. Why is Sullivan catching yesterday, not Campy?
I agree. Sullivan's a 180 hitter. We got to have him in there.
I mean, Campy hasn't been hitting much better, but
I'm just joking. But no, I think that Kim could be traded, and they put Bogaerts at second. I mean, at short, back at short. Then you can decide what do you want to do with Arise and Cronenworth.
Just put Solano at first, and then Arise is your DH. Yeah,
but Solano's not a great first baseman either.
He's got to be better than Arise with the Buckner between his legs in the other game.
I think our best first baseman's playing second base currently, but that's
I agree.
my opinion.
I agree.
You know I think they got to put him back over there. They got to put Bogaerts at second.
Yeah.
If they don't trade Kim, that has to be it.
Well, that is what's going to be.
And
that's it. And quite honestly, if they trade Kim, then you got Solano, and you got Tyler Wade. You got a bunch of guys who can play shortstop.
There's no way I'm putting Solano at short.
They got 7 guys.
You got Wade, Bogaerts,
shortstops.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather put Peralta at short. There's no way. Solano is so. I watched that play again because a lot of people were bashing the third base coach. What's the third base coach's name? Lester
Leiper? Is it Leiper?
Leiper. And I said, when I watched the play again, Solano doesn't break until the ball goes through the the second baseman is shortstop. I'm sure first baseman is second base. He doesn't really start to run. Because I said, how was he not further along than where he was? I don't know if
tag or the single.
The single. It was just
Okay,
it was a slow. It was the right fielder was playing.
It was a 27 hopper for sure.
Yeah, he was playing back, and I know he's slow, but the ball goes through, and I go, maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he thought it was a fly ball. Maybe he thought it was a line drive, but he doesn't run right away, so he's slow anyway. Yeah. So someone like that has to have.
I was fine with him not running because there was the Texas Rangers game where he did run, and he was out. We were watching the game. There was like, run.
Yeah, but really, the guys, let's step back. Whose fault is that? We know what he is.
Yeah,
he's not a speedster. We know that. So that kind of goes to the third base coach sending him.
I'm just for the tag,
throwing out a play. When you're throwing out at the plate. That's, to me, almost always on the third base coach. They had to make a determination. And look, I know I'm not trying to make Solano out that he's fast. I know he's not, right? But the bottom line is it still took a perfect throw to get him out.
It did.
It took a perfect throw to get him out.
It wasn't just
like when Rodriguez threw him out at home. It's like it was a perfect throw. Yeah. Was it shallow? Yeah. But did the third base coach tell him to run? Yes, he did.
I'm talking about the play when he was at second.
I understand. No, I'm talking about both of them. I'm just saying both of those are on the third base coach, not the runner. We know who he is. We know what speed he doesn't have.
I'm saying stopping him at third was the right move because he didn't get a good jump.
Right.
I said he wasn't. He was just getting to third base when the outfielder got the ball. I'm thinking, okay, but you're missing my point. I'm saying people were blaming the third base coach on that. I go, it was not his fault. He would have been.
No, I think what Jerry's saying is he did the right thing there. You can thank him there. And then you're saying you could blame him for sending him on the tag. Am I reading that right, Jerry?
That's right.
Also, Rodriguez also he played the ball well. You don't see a lot of outfielders come running in, setting themselves up to make the throw on the run. Most of them sit back like this and go and catch it and then try and throw with the arm. He did a great job. I mean, against Solano, he shouldn't have gone, but it is what it is.
So that's I was going to say is one of the few times that I disagreed with Don Orsillo because Don Orsillo said you got to send him, and I'm like, no, you don't.
No,
that was shallow. That would have been testy for Merrill to make it or Tatis to make it. That was too shallow. You don't. I don't care that makes 2 outs. You don't have to send him.
I think Tatis
you have another batter later.
I think Tatis or Merrill might have made it.
Yeah.
Better chance. I mean, it was
fast.
Bang bang. It was all but
Solano was again. My biggest problem with the whole inning was Solano not breaking right away. I mean, it was clearly a ground ball. Where was he? That ball was just like killing gophers all the way out to.
So then you would agree with me that why do we have one of our slowest runners, besides Campusano, hitting in front of Merrill, who's one of our fastest runners.
Yeah, but then you're going to have...
And it makes sense. I'm sorry, but it makes sense to me. Machado right, Merrill left, Solano right.
Yeah, I won't argue with that. The only problem is
I don't understand the philosophy of having I remember who was it? Was it Melvin or the manager before, where they had our fastest runner hitting 8th and then some slug hitting 9th. And he did it all the time, and it just annoyed the crap out of me because every time that fast runner would get on, they couldn't run because the guy in front of them was a snail.
I agree with you 100%.
It's got to be that one. I've said that for a couple of weeks now. Why, if you're going to move up Merrill, why don't you do it in front of Solano?
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
The only thing I can think of is they don't want Solano and Peralta back to back because then you have 2 slow runners. But again, I would rather have Merrill have free reign.
Slow, fast, slow. Does that make sense?
I'm just saying. I don't. And if you have, but then you block Kim. Kim is in between. If you had that, you would have Solano, Peralta, Kim, and Higgy. So then you got 3 slow guys and a fast guy who's stuck in between. But yeah, Kim would probably get picked.
Well, I agree with Oz's take here of it's a placeholder, right? Because I think you got to assume Xander is going in the 5 spot. Merrill's in 6. Peralta's 7. Kimmy 8.
Well, it's not a problem because Solano's now on the bench.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you take that out, and
he even recognized it. You know, he understands. It's like, no, Bogey's got to play.
Yeah,
Bogey's got to play. So I love Solano. I really do. I love his attitude. I love Peralta's attitude. I think that's one of the things that they bring is that, the clubhouse chemistry, the I'll do anything for the team. And they all, look, they're smart guys. They know it's like this is probably my last gasp here. This is my last chance, probably.
My last rodeo.
I would love to go out a winner. I feel like I'm on a team that could do that. But the bottom line is we got to get some clutch hits. Jay talked about it. We've had this annoying habit of not scoring when our pitchers pitch really good, and then scoring a lot when our pitchers are getting bombed, and our bullpen's giving it up. It's just downright annoying to watch.
I think I looked it up. King has given up 12 earned runs in the last 6 games, and he gave up 5 in one of them.
Yeah,
so that's how well he's pitched.
He's pitched great. He's pitched great after those first 5 starts.
He gave up 3 hits yesterday.
Yeah.
You give up 3 hits and 1 earned run.
Well, we also continued our trend of bucking the odds, because the guy coming in, Miller, yesterday had a lights out ERA at home of like 2.05, and on the road he was over 6. We made him feel like it was in Seattle because it was just it's frustrating. I go all the way back to the Colorado series where we did that with 3 straight pitchers, and they all had ERAs over 5, and yet we made them look like Cy Young.
There's a stat that I saw on Twitter from somebody is the Padres had 2 games in a row where they didn't have a runner in scoring position.
Yeah.
Yep. It's 2 games. First time since 1975, I believe.
Is that what it was? I'm like going, I go, God, that's brutal.
Yeah.
But it's just that happens sometimes, and I get.
Yes.
It feels like all happens, teams have that.
It happens every 40 or 50 years.
No, I'm saying like we're
offenses
go
cold.
Like,
the offense goes cold every once in a while. I agree, Jay. Yeah,
the Dodgers do too. Well, since I pay attention to the Padres on Twitter, for some reason, other teams' Twitter versus kind of come into play, and I see them get really ticked off that, or even Phillies fans. I know they're having a really good year this year, but I know they would complain because that great offense these past couple years sometimes we're just going a stretch where couldn't hit the same. Well, they got no hit in the World Series. Like
great pitching will stop you. And like we said, who is the guy? I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. The first day against Seattle, he's a great pitcher, and we've struggled against him.
Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert. It's Gilbert. He has he's an ace. I knew going into that game that we were going to lose. I hate to say it, but that it was Gilbert versus Mazier. Yeah. Come on, if I'm in Vegas, the odds on that are going to be minus 790, to plus 1500.
You know what I do? I take off my Padre hat and go make a big bet, and then Padre, because I don't want people to think.
But your point is valid though, Jay. I don't think any of us are in the mode of we should win every game. You're going to have days where the pitcher is going to just outdo you. And there's going to be days where you just don't hit just because. It's going to happen. I think the annoying trend is, why does it seem like the spigot either is all the way on or all the way off? It just seems like we hardly ever have just an average game where it's just, 4 runs on 8 hits. It's just like we either hit one run or 15. Yeah.
Can I just say something?
Goes around Manny Machado.
Yeah.
Well, it does. It lives and dies by Manny Machado for sure, right? And he's gone cold in those games we've lost for sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to raise your hand. You can.
No, I want to make my point on why I think we're so herky jerky. And we've said it already, but the back end of our rotation and even our good pitchers, we've given up early leads a lot. And our bullpen has blown a lot of games. And I think you have more consistency in the bullpen and a little more consistency in our starting pitching. And I think the herky jerkiness goes away because then you're going to have those games you lose because the offense goes cold or whatever. But I just feel like the instability there is why we're, a 500 team essentially, even though we have a playoff caliber offense and some playoff caliber pitching. but it's the weak points in our pitching is why we're hanging on for. Actually, we're out of it now. The Mets now took the
the
wild
Cardinals
card
passed
spot.
us and the Mets passed us.
So I think there's plenty of season left. Whatever, we get some
there's
trade
tons of
deadline.
season left.
But that's kind of where we're at right now. And that's
I think
why
there's a lot of mentality to what you say, Jay. I mean, we've all played enough sports that if you go out and you're behind by a run, even a single run in the first inning, it's like, okay, we have to score 2 to win. We have to score 2.
Yeah.
Minimum, we got to score 2. That in itself kind of puts the onus on the offense like, oh, crap, okay, now we got to go out and get some extra base hits now, or, and then, of course, if it becomes 2 or 3, now everybody starts pressing, because it's hard to go up as a, they always say, I think Mark Grant said, I'm sure many people have said it.
Loop in a blast.
You can't hit a grand slam with nobody on base.
Yeah.
And if you're down by 4, that's what people start thinking is like, oh, well, we got to load the bases. And it's unfortunately, baseball's like that. It's got to go one hit at a time, one walk at a time. You just can't just go out there and hit a 3-run homer every time, Well, the Padres hit their fair share of home runs. The problem is to Jay's point, when you get behind, your mentality just changes. But guys get a little bit less patient. They now I got to swing at something and get us started. Everybody wants to be the spark. And I think in some ways that's a good thing because you got a team of players that's like they're very much into team orientation and all that. And they all want to be the guy that starts the game and starts the spark, like when Profar hit the home run before Manny hit the 2-run homer. It kind of gotten forgotten, but the team, I guaranteed, remember that Profar hit the home run that tied it, that allowed us to get loose and be able to win the game.
Yep.
I think it
made you believe it. Made you believe that could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But another factor is what we've already talked about. When you fall behind and you're trying to catch up, you start looking at the innings. You go, all right, who's going to come in the? I mean, if I'm thinking that, the players are thinking that. It's like you can't help but think, oh my God, we're going to be in Solano. It's either Solano, Matsui, Wandy Peralta.
Yeah,
we better score. We got to score more runs. So it's just not tying the game and going ahead by 1, especially when we overuse Suarez and.
Well, if we're bringing Solano in to pitch, then we're really in trouble. So.
Did I say Solano?
Hey, I'm saying I sent you that clip in our chat. Cronenworth, it was a video going around of him, and I don't think he struck him out. But I think he threw a strike to
Austin. Jerry wanted Austin Hedges early this year, right? You were talking about someone like that.
Yeah.
He almost gave up a home run today.
Yeah.
The guy literally went over the wall to rob the home run. I go, who the hell's that pitcher? I go, oh wait, that's Austin Hedges.
Well, let's switch gears. Let us talk a little bit about the positive because this is going to be. Otherwise, we're going to label this the downer Padres here. But you brought up the catching. Again, dead wrong. Higgy's been a godsend.
We
won the Soto trade. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he. Well, the thing is though, is he's been very reliable. He's doing much better on the knuckleball now and catching it. I mean, I give him credit. He's obviously worked on it because at the beginning of the season, that was like an obvious flaw that like, okay, this guy can't catch that thing.
Yep.
He's doing a lot better at it.
Yep.
He's obviously hit some big home runs. I'm liking the guy. I'm not saying let's offer him a 5-year extension, but the thing is I heard I was on a different broadcast on a different game, not involving the Padres, and they were talking about catchers, and the guy who was a former baseball player said, "Man, if you can have a catcher that hits 240 and hits 10 to 20 home runs, you're gravy." I mean, and he's a good catcher. You're gravy, man. Like it's just that they just don't exist. There's just not very many of them out there that are just going to do more than that. And
why young kids don't want to catch?
Well, they're not stupid. I caught 1 year in Little League, and I found that out. It was like, oh, great to be involved in the game, but man, my knees hurt. I got tired of get hit by foul balls, and
I got hit by a foul ball. Was back then you just did this.
Yeah. And
you didn't have no helmet. It's bam! Oh my God, I'm done.
What they call the tools of ignorance, right? I mean,
exactly.
But that's been obviously we've talked about Profar and Merrill. We've had Michael King. We've had some good step ups from guys that we weren't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I still say that our biggest problem this year is just injuries. And I know everybody has them, but boy, have we gotten some big ones. Tatis, Bogarts, Musgrove, and Darvish alone is just crushing.
Especially with your pitching staff when you knew it was going to be thin.
Yeah, and you go out and get Cease, and you're all excited, thinking, "Okay, we got 5 now."
But then you lose your top 2 starters.
Yeah.
Like going 2 guys that usually go 6 or 7 innings.
Yeah,
which does what?
Quality starts.
Saves your bullpen. Saves your bullpen. And
that's what did last year, because Darvish, he was always like good for 7.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't a good game, he'd give you 7.
Well, him and Musgrove set the plate. I mean, and then because we used to kid about how when especially early in the year how Snell was only getting 5 innings because his pitch count was over 100.
Yeah.
And obviously he obviously turned it around and started going 6 and 7. But even with that, you had but Darvish and Musgrove are going to give us 7 apiece. All right, we're good. And then you worry about the 4th and 5th, and of course ended up not having to worry too much about that because a guy named Lugo came along.
Yeah.
But another good one is that Vasquez has looked really good. I'm liking him. I'm liking him a lot. Yeah.
The one guy we follow doesn't really like him.
Yeah.
On Twitter, what's his name?
Giannis.
Yeah.
He's said things about him before where he doesn't have. I go, I'm just not. I go, I see good things from him. I don't know what am I
better
missing?
than Major.
Yeah,
I think he's a good pitcher too. I think he's a good pitcher. He's learning the craft, so to speak. Major's going to be fine.
Yeah,
because he needed this stint because his nerves obviously are not where they need to be because this guy came from a history of A ball, double A, everywhere he pitched as being a control pitcher, and he's anything but right now. And I think it's because he's flat out scared that they're going to hit every ball over the fence. It's the typical rookie pitcher not trusting your stuff.
Yeah,
hey, this is what got me here. And they try to change, things. They try to throw it 2 miles an hour faster. They try to nip it every little corner they can instead of just trusting himself.
Well, it's not just rookies. Look at Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Blake Snell's you sit there and go, oh my God, they can't hit you. Throw the ball over the plate.
Yeah. Yeah.
He goes 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. Oh, I got to leave in the 5th.
Yeah. So I think it's a learning curve, and some guys never get there, and others are going to get better at it. Michael King had that issue at the beginning of the year where I think he was trying to be a little too fine. He was walking too many guys, and then obviously when he did give up home runs, they were always 2 and 3 bangers, and that'll kill any pitcher. If you get a couple of guys on, And it's easy for us to sit here and say, well, trust your stuff when you've, given up a home run already. And, well, that was my stuff. Well, yeah, but that's going to happen every once in a while, I mean, it's just going to happen,
Yeah.
Think how Maddox, Glavine, Pedro Martinez, and Maddox felt pitching to Tony Gwynn. He hit 333 against those 4 guys combined.
Yeah. And he was in the 400s on Glavine and Schultz, I think.
I was, because it comes up on his birthday. The favorite one of mine though is Schultz sitting there going. So he names off the 4 guys, and he says, "And us 4 between the 4 of us, we had 12,000 strikeouts. You know how many times we struck out Tony Gwynn combined, all of us? Twice.
Yeah,
twice.
It wasn't me.
Amazing.
I think he said 2. I never did.
Yeah.
So that was. It was a little weird, the Roku broadcast on Sunday, because they paired up Don with Tom Candiotti.
Loved it.
But I thought it was great.
I did too.
I love
I swear to God, I'm like going, sounds like Rick Sutcliffe.
But I love.
He wasn't. But Candiotti wasn't drunk.
I love Candiotti's story about Tony Gwynn, where it's like 1 year he was pretty good against him. He's like, all right, I got it now. And then from that point on, Tony Gwynn owned him for the rest.
Well, the story goes that to complete your story is Tony had only gone 1 of 12 against him that year, and he said, I got to figure it out. In the rest of his career, he went 14 for 29 against Candiotti. Yeah. The thing I like about Candiotti, because I actually had the pleasure of listening to him on the Arizona broadcast coming back from the Grand Canyon when they're playing the Padres.
Nice.
And it was, and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, gosh, who is that? Because he was talking about the knuckleball, and I'm like, God, who is that? And then finally, after about a couple innings, identified as Tom Candiotti, and of course, I watched him as a young man, and but his insight was really good, though. He wasn't banging on people. He was just giving him kind of his. He was the one that said, Waldron, he was pitching that day. It was the day he got absolutely hammered.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's just rolling up there. And he goes, believe me, the knuckleball, if it starts rolling, it's like you're a softball pitch, slow pitch machine. It's the same concept. But I just thought, man, between him and Orsello, how difficult that is, because you're got to be somewhat of a homer when you're broadcasting for your team. And for them to get together, I would have never guessed from what I heard that either one of them worked for either club.
Yeah, no, they did it was neutral. It was kind of weird, but they did it.
Yeah.
Especially because Don does national games, so he's used to having the not home announcer. But to do it for a team that he's made some incredible. Some people don't like his calls, which is weird. It's usually Dodger fans. But he does these, very static calls, which
I think that he's a professional. Number one, he's a professional. Look at the people in Boston who still bitch about him being fired.
And he doesn't. I didn't realize how negative he feels about the Red Sox as an organization.
Oh yeah.
Did you see his article, his interview with him?
Yeah. I remember when we were playing the Red Sox, all these Red Sox, I go, look, Don loves San Diego, and we love Don. He liked the tweet. Yeah. So it's like I go, he ain't leaving. He ain't coming back.
These Red Sox podcasts like us, where it's like Don's heart's on it, and he would come back in a heartbeat. But there was this article that an interview he did. He said, I love the Celtics, the Bruins, the Patriots, but they fired me. And I have no loyalty to them anymore.
And they didn't invite him back for this.
I think there was a time where he really missed his partner, Jerry Remy.
Yeah, and I think he said that.
But now him and Mud are thick as thieves, and it's just not fake. They drive to spring training together. They put videos together of with each other, and they give each other a hard time. So no, we're lucky to have him. Yeah, lucky to have him.
I also think the Red Sox didn't invite him back for the Jerry Remy celebration when Jerry passed away. That how do you not do that?
Yeah, and I think they didn't do anything for him at this game. That was his first time back.
Which again, I remember when he was hired. At Red Sox fans were like, that follow me on Twitter, or whatever. You got a good one, you're gonna like him. He's great. I'm like, why would the Red Sox let him go if he's so good? And I'm like, and like you said, the chemistry between him and Grant are great. He does a good job with Tony Gwynn.
But got better.
It's the same. It's something. Isn't that funny though? Because it's the same way we got Mike Schilt, like St. Louis, who I respect probably more than any organization in baseball, quite honestly, and didn't see eye to eye with him. And I'm like, wow, did we get a gift out of that one? I know it's yet to be proven, but everybody that talks about Mike Schilt says, man, what a refreshing change at manager. Oh, this guy's. He gives you answers. He'll talk to you. He'll let you know it's none of your business, but he's very straightforward. He's got great communication skills. The players love him. The press loves him. I think that's what sometimes you just have an organization. They just don't see eye to eye. And, but we got lucky. I think he
wasn't getting along with the general manager, right? In St. Louis.
Right. Yeah, I don't know the ends of it, but that's what I heard. It was an organizational difference.
Yeah, kind of like Schottenheimer and A.J. Smith.
Yeah, it could have very much. Nobody knows the stories, and you know what? I'll give credit to Schilt. He's not telling them either. But the bottom line is he came in on a couple of years of being an assistant upstairs, and I think that's great. I
heard something that they had a stat. Was it stat? Maybe it was the Ruku game that he was the third active manager in wins or something like that, third or fourth. Yeah. So I'm like going, he's a winner, so he knows how to win. I'm not blaming him for people always blame him for the use of the bullpen, going back to the bullpen. again, what can you do?
Right.
Just like,
You only have so many options.
I got 3
honestly.
guys, 4 guys are reliable, and the other guys, it's like, okay, maybe they do well today.
Yeah.
I mean, what's Matsui's contract? Is it just one and done, or?
Oh no, it's 4 year.
No, that's Peralta. I thought was 4 years.
Peralta's 4 years. He has an opt out every year. Unfortunately, he's not going to take it.
Yeah, he won't be taking it. Yeah, yeah.
But you think it's like Peralta was really solid with the Yankees. Like I just something.
Maybe the Yankees would take him back. I'll take a bag of balls. I mean, I don't hate the guy, but to get rid of the contract, I just when I see him come in and his body language too. You can always look at the body language in these guys. Like when he went and filled that bunt in front of Machado, he had no chance to make that play. Yeah. None. And he filled that.
Yeah, and I even saw Manny slump his shoulders. Like, what are you?
Yeah.
What were you doing? Like, I had that. Like, yeah.
You know, you.
Hey, so
maybe they get a run.
Yeah. Oz put up a question for us here, and I'm going to draw a blank on what that comment was.
I will post it. I have the video teed up. I brought it up here.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
So
I haven't heard this.
I'm going to change my audio so I can pick up from my computer. It should work. We'll see if it works. Share my screen.
Year when you have this roster and you have guys, guys that are all stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you have personal expectations of being in the playoffs every single year. When you have this roster and you have 5 guys that are all stars, does it just amplify that expectation even more?
See, I don't like the word expectations. You know, I think that's something
unbelievable.
People always like to put out there as expectations. I mean, I think we expect to go out there and win every single day. I mean, this is what we play the game for. I mean, I don't think anyone wants to be a loser, you know. So we got to go out there and play our game. And I think whenever you have guys playing well, things go well for you. But at the end of the day, it's about what this team could do day in, day out, every single night. And this whole team has been doing it all day, every single day for the whole year. So we got to continue doing that. And I think that's an expectation we have in here as a group is to do that. You know, expectation. Look at that. You say it, now I gotta say it. Yeah. You know, that's why I don't like the word, because now you're putting it in my mouth. I didn't say it. That's why I don't like words. That's why you guys always put us in these situations. Get caught, and then now I'm all over social media because you put something in my mouth, which I didn't say, and now I just keep repeating expectations. So,
yeah, it's a no-win when they get asked questions like that. It really is, because he's right. Expectations to me are two different things. I go back to my work days, and I have expectation that at the end of the year we're going to get this done. But my expectations day in, day out is not, we may lose. No, it's just like we're going to keep going until we get to the end. And some days are going to be worse than others, and some days are going to be better than others. But the bottom line is, I want to be here when I get to the end of the year. And I think with baseball, with the 162 games, we all sometimes get that last thought is what just happened. I heard that on the radio today.
Yep.
Our brain
Recency
functions that way. Yeah, our brain functions that way. The last thing we saw is what's bothering us the most, or what's the most important right at that moment.
Jay, and you're right.
Yeah. But, after a hard loss, it's like, here we go again. We're going down the tubes. Everything's going to be like that. Or we have this exhilarating win. It's like, okay, here we go. See, that's what we can do right there. And I think
you're saying it's like a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. And, the bottom line is you have to find more ways to get more days of good than bad. And that's the way you got to leave it. Trevor Hoffman, one of the best relievers ever, had that mentality. It's like, if he gave a home run the day before, the next day he goes out and I expect to win. I expect to mow these guys down, and
there's a lot of relievers that can't. A lot of relievers can't do that.
Exactly. And
Donnie, I hate to bring him up. Donnie Moore is a perfect example. Never recovered from giving up a big home run.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's just, it's hard because we do live in the moment, and I think that sometimes I personally Not that I'm affecting them, but I need to kind of step back with my expectations. This has been a 500 team for 5 years now. For me to expect it to get any better overnight is ill-advised. I'm hoping that we're that team that at the end of the year, whether we sneak in or whether we get a good run of 15 out of 20, something gets us to where we get there. I just think I'll be more disappointed now because we finally felt like we were actually getting there. We were 6 games over 500. I wasn't expecting like, oh, we got to go 7, 8, 9, 10. No, sooner or later, you're going to come back and forth a little bit. But it's these damned 4 and 5 game losing streaks that just kill me. They just absolutely drain me.
Yeah. And not only that, it's the fact that they're just not. It's like yesterday, not scoring a run.
Yeah,
and you're like going. It just. But I love Manny Machado. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he has a high baseball IQ.
Very high.
I always tell people, I go, no, he's got a high. He knows when to. How many times you've seen him tag up in a certain situation and make it? You're like,
or go first to third.
Yeah, where a lot of people, a lot of players don't do that. Even players, like I said, you put him and Kim, and I hate to keep bashing on Kim, but Manny's IQ, baseball IQ, is far greater than Kim's.
Yeah.
Well, and it should be. I mean, he's got 13, 14 years. And look, he's made his number of mistakes and everything. I count myself as one of those people. I'm not like a Manny fan. He's not my favorite baseball player. I probably got 4 or 5 guys on the team that I like better than Manny as far as, just the attitude and everything that goes with it. But that doesn't matter because I'm not in the clubhouse. And all I hear is all the other players love Manny.
Yeah.
So that's what's important to me. They love Manny. That's great. I hope Manny does well. I never root against Manny. I got my little things, about baseball players that I like and dislike, and one of them is the whole hustle thing. I get it. You don't have to speed burn everything, but there are times to me when it looks a little nonchalant.
That does bug me. But next week, maybe we should come up with give our top 5 Padres we like.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, wow. Gosh, you're going to hold me to 5, huh?
You just said I have maybe 5 players I like more than Manny, so I think we should do that.
Oh, on the current club I'm talking about.
On the current, not all time. No.
Yeah, current club. All right. We have only 3 games between this show and our next show.
Jerry, say 0-3.
And we have our All-Star break. I don't want to say that Jerry cursed the team this past week, but he was like, I'm feeling good. We're going. What'd you say? 5-4-1?
5-0.
5-0, whatever.
Or whatever it was.
You were close. You were close. You looked right on Friday.
It's really tough because I was hoping we'd do better against the Mariners. The D-backs thing was just annoying more than anything. It was just annoying, the way we won, the way we lost. It was just, it was the roller coaster, 2-game roller coaster, really, quite honestly. Yeah. But the Mariners just totally disappointed me. I know they're a first place club, but good grief, we just made them look like we were nothing.
Yeah.
The Braves, unfortunately, we're facing 2 of their better starters. We're facing Lopez on Saturday and Sale on Sunday.
Yep.
We can't touch Sale. Yeah. We can't touch Sale.
They should have saved Sale for the All-Star game.
There's no way, and I call it, there's no way we're beating Sale. He's left-handed, and he's probably one of the dirtiest left-handers out there.
Yeah.
I think we're lucky if we go 1-2.
Whew. Wow. Okay.
I think we're lucky.
That brings us back to we'd be 1 game over 500. I think if we go 1-2.
What did we all say last week? I think I said I think I said 4.
So wait, are you calling 1-2?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Jerry, you've called 1-2. Jack, what are you calling here?
Just to be different, I'm going to go 2-1.
Man, I was going to go 2-1.
Maybe it rains Sunday and we don't have to play.
I'm going to hopefully go for the reverse jinx. I'm saying 0-3.
Wow. It would suck if it really suck if we went 0-3 because that means we'd be 1 game under 500 at the All-Star break.
Yeah, sucks. Yeah.
That would just
hope we don't have that.
And not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but that's a bodacious road trip after that. That's one of the toughies. You got to play the Guardians, you got to play the Orioles, and the Nationals, who are,
So that's 2 teams in a row I'm not going to be able to watch.
Yeah.
because it's the Washington Nationals and the Orioles.
You go to an Orioles game.
Oh, no. Wait, Jack. May I remind you that you will be at somebody else's house during that time?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh,
We
yeah,
will
that's
be.
right.
We'll be in San Diego. We'll be fine.
Okay. All right.
We're going to have to figure out how we're going to do our telecast because all three of us will be in the same house vicinity.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, I might be in Comic-Con festivities. You may have to go without me. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Comic-Con versus Padres. Really? You're going to go there?
Well, I have like work to do there. It's not like I am having fun.
Oh,
Work.
whatever.
Come on, Jay. Work.
The toy geeks, the toy geeks can
Work.
take an hour off. All right.
I gotta make things happen. It's one of my biggest shows of like.
Go to
My
your
game,
geek fans. Go to your geek fans with a baseball and a bat and introduce them to the game of baseball.
Oh, they like sports just fine.
What is that?
Oh
what is
my
that round
God.
thing?
Is that a light? Is that a lightsaber without the light?
Is that ball from Mattel?
On that note,
I'd
hit
like to hear
subscribe and the bell so you don't miss anything. We'll see how it goes. Hey, we got 5 All-Stars, even though 4 should play. And we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about all of it next week. Hit the like button if you enjoy this episode. And to Jerry,
the like
Jack,
button.
to Jerry and Jack, go to hell. All right, that's going to do it this episode. We'll see y'all next time. Hasta later. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.